Mike Smith up in here. He hooked me up with this, I wrote this song. He wrote quite a few of them, they're pretty cool. Alright guys, well here we go. Welcome to the weekend. It's Saturday night. Did a little pop-up. This here unit is going to be raffled off with Black Cat Radio with Ivan Ward. He's doing the raffling on this one. I believe he's doing some sort of a striker combination. And I just thought I'd take and kind of do the presentation on it. So even though this unit's going to go with a radio, it's going to have control, I'll show where we can go with the with an external driver. So let's say the guy didn't want to pair this amplifier up with the particular radio that he could win in the raffle. There's other options you can go with. So in the meantime, I'm going to take and try to mock up the output power of the radio that he's sending, doing the raffle with this unit. I believe it's a Striker 955. Now I might be wrong, but we just kind of, I think that's what it is. I'm almost sure of it. So when Ivan gets this video, and I already sent him some pictures, I'm sure that he'll post it up on my page for the raffle. It's a really cool thing. Ironically, I won last week the big 69 bass radio, the Mako 5/8 ground plane. I think it was a V5000, and then the Terry 55 4CX 1000 tube, little ceramic tube box. So really neat. I didn't expect to win it. I actually wrote my dad's numbers in on the slot of 133, and I won, and I was in total disbelief. And in fact, I was doing the video on the 2-driving 8 that I just did before this unit, and he ran that raffle live. So that's it. Looks like I got a few folks up in here in the room of Facebook. It looks like about 9 people, and YouTube I have about 4 people in there. So people come and go. Hello, whoever wants to drop in, you can put your name or handle in on the comments. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them after the video's over. There's a lot going on in these videos, guys, and I try not to forget things and miss things, and try to keep you guys informed on everything that's going on my bench. Because there's actually, the reason why I actually talk about and say every word or division on the slugs, and talk about the amps and say the voltage and narrate everything throughout the video, because I have actually a couple blind, there's some blind guys that talk on the radio, and they follow me here on Facebook and YouTube, and they're able to take and follow along with what's going on. So it's a good thing to understand and to do a demonstration and narrate it throughout, because there's a lot of people that don't understand what's going on, or they won't understand the division of the element you might be using, a division on the actual analog meters. So I mean, a lot of guys are jumping over to the digital stuff. This is original Dave made unit. It's kind of like a unicorn. There's a few of them out there floating around, and they get a pretty good dollar for them, but they're really cool. I think he only made like 100 of these things, but at the end of the day, I have one of them, and I like it very much. Thanks to Steve George for hooking me up with that. So in the meantime, we've been going throughout all the birds throughout the years, so that's why I talk about each division, the lines, and what we're doing for the slugs and etc. And that will actually help a lot of folks learn the divisions of the slugs. And it's important that you understand what you're reading, because you can misread something, overdrive it very simply, and then you have a problem because you didn't understand how to read your bird meter. And so if you can't read a bird meter in analog, you just go ahead and get yourself a digital. They run pretty good. You just have to get used to where the numbers are flashing and such. So there's nothing wrong with the digital stuff. I know the guy up there in Canada has been making them for quite a few years. I remember 10 years ago, I think Charger had one of those at the shop, and it was cool, but it's just kind of a little bit too hard to follow. They dance around a little bit. So with that said, let's take a look at this 8. Now I built this unit for if somebody wanted to grow, if they didn't want to take and use that striker radio or a hot rod radio with a small amplifier built in it. So I said this a couple units ago, I've made a lot of room for the driver stage in this. So by doing that, all I have to do is pick this up. I can add a power wire back here, and I can drop whatever stage I would like in there. So as far as two transistors, two 1446s, 2290s, 454s, good pick. I really like the 2290s driving 82879 standards. To me, it's just a way smoother box. I just like how the reaction is, how it reacts with the voltage. And the HG did a really good job, I think, on the 2290s and the 1446s. Some people do like the 454s. I like them, but I think the 2290s as a drive stage is smoother for a 2 combination, a 2 driving an 8 or 2 driving 12 or something of that nature. The two 454s do pretty good with the 12, but you can move up a little bit on drive. Now I'm talking about a little bit bigger boxes because I've been building a lot of 8 pills lately, and it's not a bad thing. I enjoy doing them. It's a day's work if you wanted to stay in it all day, but you guys, there are bigger boxes out there that you can get with a combination. You can get a 2x12. We can do a 4x16 or a 2 driving 16s, however the combination you're looking for, but it all just automatically, I'm going to ask you questions about your radio. So if somebody's inquiring about an amplifier, please be prepared to answer some of my questions. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of them, and I try to provide you guys with a lot of information in my videos just for you won't weigh me down on phone call questions, because a lot of the stuff that I demonstrate, you can perform these same tests yourself, and I highly suggest you do. So if you don't have a dual meter, you can use a single. If you only have 1 meter, you can use a single, but it's very important that you have a coupling that couples the meter directly to the amplifier when you use it on your input or your output, for you can read your input reflection going back to a driver and etc. So you have to have a good coupling. You can get a cheaper coupling, but if they break, you got a problem. This one here, it's pretty strong. You can lift up the whole amplifier with it. So the ones I build are really strong. So with that said, I'm getting ready to build some of these, and unfortunately they're like 80 bucks, but it's not gonna break, guys. See? Do that all day long. So did that with one of those little press together ones, it'd probably fall apart. But at the end of the day, this box is got room to grow. And if I choose to, if someone comes back and they say, hey, I got an 8, change my mind a month, 2 months later, whatever, I want a 2x8, I can put a 2-pill stage in all the boxes I've been building. Easy enough. It would be really painless for me because I can just build a stage right here. There's plenty of room and just add 1 power wire. And I have plenty of room in my slew cord. So this particular unit, I'm using 3 6-gauge power wires. I have a nice, what they used to call the old school Dayton type of a 16 amp relay. That's what that is, 16 amp. And then, you know, 1.25 inch output transformers, got this surface mount components on top, and got a nice little package here, on and off. So it does have auto sideband in here. So, and that's that cap there. It's quite a bit larger, and it's all about keeping it keyed down. No, it's not on a switch, it's automatic. So if you're an AMer, you're just gonna have that little delay before your receive comes in. Most of the guys, if they're a good operator, they won't key before you on key. They should normally wait about 5 seconds and then key up. But sometimes people get a little trigger happy, let's call it that. And then they they key on you before you're even done hawking. And then you miss the first few of their words. What's going on, Dwayne? How are you, sir? Mr. Fuji. So let's light this up. Let's look at the slugs real quick. Wake up a few things here. Turn the amp meter. See if that's working. Of course not. No power supply's on. We're gonna light up the power supply. Let's see if we got a fan kit here running. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna look at 25 watt slug is gonna be my input reflection. It's gonna be going back to my little Texas Star driver. And then I'm gonna show a 250 watt slug going to input drive level. Now, with that said, I have, trying to lower this. Can't lower it. Damn it, there we go. All right, so with that said, it leaves us going through the coax portions of it, but we'll get to that in a second. So we're gonna look at the 2500 watt in the digital, 1000 watt in the RMS, and 2500 in digital and peak on the analog, so pure. So real quick, I'm running a little Dustin R&R Cobra 29. We've already kind of showed all of the wattages in the past video, but I'm going to be driving a little Texas Star, so we're not going to focus so much on the radio because we already know it's going to do somewhere right around 10 bird and right around 42 to 47 watts peak. So, because all that, remember, that's in proportion of where your carrier level is. So let's just take a look at just amp running, and we're going to take a look at this radio where it showed me, I don't know, somewhere around 70 peak. All right, 70 watts peak. So we're not going to have lots of power on the RMS, but the peak is going to be up there quite a bit with just the 8-pill running with just that Cobra 29. Now, the phase angle of the coax is pretty important. Let me cut that real quick. I'm running a half a wavelength out of my radio into the little Texas Star. And now out of the Texas Star, I'm running another half a wavelength down into the 8, and then a half wavelength through the line sections and such, and it's all stub tuned down to the dummy load. Now, you're going to take in, we're going to touch like 80 on the peak, and we're going to see this 8-pill really get up and dance on the peak. So the peaker tweakers, you guys should get pretty excited, but the RMS guys are going to be like, yeah, look at that, it ain't really doing nothing. So with that said, I'm going to take and just turn this around, look at the radio driving it. And this is a big carrier. Back it down a little. All right, there we go. All right, so we got a little carrier on there. This 25 watt slug. Here's the radio. I'm taking like right at 8 watts. Each line's a half a watt. So it's like 7.5, yeah, it's 8 watts right there. So here's a 1000 watt slug. Each line's 20 watts. And we're looking at the bottom scale. Here's a carrier with 8 watts. Gives me an overall carrier of 190, almost 200. Okay. Now we're going to put a little modulation on it. Might gain setting about 12 o'clock right here. It's all the more you need, really. And we're going to modulate audio, 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 audio. We're looking at the bottom scale, audio, audio, audio. They're doing about 250, 260. Let's take a look at the RMS on the digital. Audio, 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 audio. Show me a good 250. Now here's your chance, speaker tweakers. All right, let's look at the RMS right here real quick. Audio, 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 audio. Right close to that 250. All Alright, peaker, tweaker, 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 900 watts, peak, 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 peak. Alright, so we have a lot of peak going on. A lot of peak power. I've been talking about peak a lot because everybody wants to talk about peak. They want to read peak, but they're not understanding peak. I had a low RMS level and I had a very high peak number. That's cool. Now, the peak number is going to fill up as my RMS will fill up as I increase drive. I'm going to make drive. That's out right here. So let's take and turn on, let's say we're in a striker mode. Let's see about 50 watts come out of this thing. Get a carrier out of this. Let me turn this around. All right. Audio 1 2, audio 1 2 1 2, audio 1 2 1 2. So there's right there close to 50 watts. And let's see what the peak is on 50 watts. Audio 2 pills, peaking, 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 and peaking, and peaking, and 175 to 200 watts at 50 watts. So again, the peak has just got a lot of headroom to grow. Now we're going to take that 200 watts peak, and we're going to join it with that 800 watts peak that my radio put out. Now remember, we're filling up the RMS. We're going to start filling up that side of things on that level. So let's see what my drive level is. Let's set a carrier. All right. All right, this is a 250 watt slug. Each line is 5 watts, top scale. Audio drive, audio drive, audio drive, audio drive. So there's a perfect 50 watts. Here's your input reflection. Communications between the driver and the 8 transistor unit. This is your patch cord will differ this number. And sometimes it's a little bit, sometimes it's a lot. But you have to remember, you see a little bit of change on a bench with a 50 ohm dummy load. It's going to be a lot of change when you have an antenna that's not balanced at a 1.1, 1.2, God forbid 1.3 and higher. So you keep that in mind. If your antenna is wrecked, you're going to wreck your equipment. So here's your input reflection, communication between the 2, driver and the 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, audio, audio, audio. So we're hanging right close to the half watt mark or less. Now let's see what we're doing now at 50 watts drive. This is probably about what a striker would put out in RMS, but the striker does put out quite a bit of peak. Remember that peaker tweaker number, just a go happy number. All right, so that's 50 watts of drive, audio 1, 2, 3, 4, audio 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can really jam it up there and get it up to about 700 watts. Let's see what the digital says. Audio, 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 audio. So 675, 700, we're splitting hairs. Let's take a look at the peak on what's going on with both those. Here's this one here. It should be the 2500. Yes, it is. And let's take and give it some audio. Audio, 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 audio. So we're hanging out right around 15, 15, 50. Here is a 2500 analog top scale. Each line's 50. Audio, audio, 1, 2, audio, 1, 2, audio, 1, 2. So we see that beautiful 1500 watts. This thing's got all kinds of headroom. She's breathing. And that's what you're going to probably commonly see with the radio. It's going to be matched up with this. Now, if you didn't have that radio, and you did have yourself a little Texas Star or a 2-pill or 214, 46, 2290s, 454s, 2879s, remember, you can only feed this thing so much and then it's going to start choking. It's going to be spitting gas back at you and it's going to get hot quick because of overdrive. So remember, the level of voltage that you're at, if your voltage is low, this ain't bad, it's 14.9, it's almost 15. You can only feed it so much drive before it's going to start choking. Your peak is not going to increase, your RMS isn't going to increase, and you're just making heat as you increase the drive. So, let's put the cover up on this real quick. Let's move on. Alright, so we're at like 50 watts of drive or so. Let's just look at what's happening over here on the voltage. The amperage is with the Texas Star and the 8. Audio, 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 audio. So we're at 88, 90 amps, somewhere right in there. I've seen someone says that's exactly what his is doing. With the same system with that boy. Good. Audio, 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 audio. So this unit's drawing about 88 amps right now. Now, I get questions about, well, how much power supply do you have to run an 8-pill? Listen, if you got a striker and it's got its own power supply and you got 100 ampere, you're going to run to death out of 100 amps, especially at 120 volts plug-in, because they don't do as good. Power supplies, none of them do as good as when they run it on 240 volts. But if you put 100 ampere on here, and if the volts are holding, you're good. You're probably good with that combination. But as you're going to see, as I increase the drive, this thing's going to start eating. And it's going to eat like a fat kid on vacation with a box of Twinkies. So we're going to see the amperage increase on this as the power increases as I fill my RMS. So we'll run this over one more time. We'll just look at the drive. Audio, 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 audio. All right, a little about 50 watts or so. Amperage, audio, 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 audio. 82, 83, and here's your voltage. Audio, audio, audio. 14.8. Now let's look at the both peaks, the peaker, the tweaker, so you guys can do the math. Audio 1 2 1 2 1 2 to 1550, and then what's this one saying? Audio, 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 audio. Not close, about 1400 up there. So kind of believe what you want on that. Not every one of them is going to be identical. We're pretty close. So let's increase our drive. What happens if we just dig right into it? Let's see what this is doing. Carrier, turn that up. I gotta turn that down. All right, here we go. Audio. Let's turn up this. Ice water. What's going on, Mr. Ice Water? Audio, audio, audio. So we're passing through this box with 100 watts right now. So at 100 watts, said carrier. At 100 watts, I should be really close to making 1,000 watts RMS, and I should fill the holes up pretty good. So let's take a look at 100 watts drive with the amp running, and here's your amperage on the 8. Audio, 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 audio. So now you just passed up that 100 amp power supply. Now it's eating 109 amps. You're making power now. Here's your input reflection. Let's see our working wattage. Audio, 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 right there at 100. Let's look at input reflection. Each line's a half a watt. Audio, 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 1 watt, 1 watt, 1 watt. All right, what happened to our RMS? We should have filled it up. Audio, 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 1, 2. So we're not making times 10. Why ain't we making times 10? Because we're out of fuel. We don't have any more volts to support the drive that I'm putting into it. Now, let's take a look at this analog peak. Audio, 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 audio. I got all the drive I can get into her. Audio, audio, audio. Looks like 1650 up there. Let's see here. Audio, 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 audio. 1750. So that's all she can take on that voltage. 100 watts, boys and girls. You get a 1 drive and 2, and you're gonna put that into a 3 pill into an 8 in your truck, and you're at 14 volts. You're gonna tear it up. Now, only thing you can do at this point to make more power is increase your voltage. All right, let's do that real quick. We're just going to increase about 3/4 of a volt. We're going to increase about 3/4 of a volt here. So now we're going to take and look at this voltage. Okay, audio, 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 15.7. We were at 14.8, so that tells you we're almost 1 volt. All right, there you go. There is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0s. Flare. Audio, 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 audio. 115 amps at 15. Audio, audio, 7. So let's look at input drive. Did it let a little bit more go in? Because why? I opened up the back end. Audio, 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 just a smidge. You left almost 5 watts slide back in there. Because why? You open up the voltage. She's breathing more. What happened to my inputs? Audio, 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 hanging out right at 1 watt. What happened to the poor old 1,000 watt slug? Audio, 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 right there, touching the corner. Let's see what this is on the 2500. Let's be fair on this test. Audio, 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 1,000 watts. And let's look at the RMS on the digital. Audio, 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 925. And let's see the peaker tweakers on both of them. All right, peaker tweaker, audio, 1 2 1 2 1 2, 19 1925. Let's see what the analog says. Audio, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So they're meshing pretty good right there. Now, next thing is saying, where do you want to set your dead key at? Pretty important, very important. I had a guy call me today saying, man, I had this box and we had to carry her up, way up. And then when I talked, the box backed way up. In fact, it dropped down all the way like 1,500 watts from wherever he had his carrier at. It just dumped. Can't really do that because the end number, when you fall back, that's where your output power is, and you're overtaxing your power supply. So to show you a quick demonstration, got 100 watts. Now, I don't have a carrier of 100 watts, but if I turn this up, and look at this, before I do that, let's look at the amperage right here. Alright, we're 60 amps on a carrier. Gives me a carrier level right about 400. Okay, or 70 and 400. Alright, there's 520. 80 amps, 520, right? A forward swing. Audio, no modulation. Audio. So, I just produced over 800 watts of RMS. So the carrier level should be somewhere right around no lower than 380. I'd like to see it like run right about 400. And then let it eat till it can't make any more power. But that number is not just for this box. It's for whatever box you have. And you set your stuff up in RMS mode, not peak. Forget about peak. Peak is going to just run you into the mud. Go to RMS or average on your meter. Just say, set carrier where it keys up. Don't care really if it's low. And say audio. And see where it ends. And on your analog meter, say for example, it ended at 800 watts. Where would you run your carrier? About 350 to 400 and just let her eat. Now, as you increase your carrier, and if you don't have a proper power supply, all you're going to do is just make and create more amperage. Alright, now back it down. Nothing. Just keep going up. It'll keep on going up. You see that's 117 amps? What happened to that? In the corner. It's no good, man. So let's do this one. We know where it maxes out at, right about 8 plus. There's 800. There's 100 watts of pill right there. Keyed up. 8 transistors, 100 watts of transistor. Alright, there's 800. Got my gain, yes. See my drive level. That's 250 watts slug, that's 75, that's 80, that's 85 watts carrier. Alright? And it's over. Okay. Now, if I talk, audio, still punching forward. Audio, but you're running your stuff too hard, even doing that. That is maybe what a shootout guy would do to try to start his day on the line, is a heavy, hefty carrier where he can try to suppress his opponent, I should say. But in DX, man, listen, if you ain't got Mother Nature, I don't care if you got a little carrier or a big one. If you ain't got Mother Nature, ain't nobody gonna hear you anyway. So don't run your stuff super hard because you're just gonna break it. And that's just no good when you start breaking stuff. So we just did 100 watts of drive at 15.7 volts and produced quite a bit of peak. Ran great. Box is nice and cool. Take a peek again. See where we're at. That's at 100. That's there. That's there. I'm going to turn this off. 1000. We're going to look at the 2500 in RMS. And we're going to move forward just for a moment. It's up. Set a carrier. Now that's a 2500 watt scale. Each line's 50. You're looking at the top scale. There we go. There's 400 or so. Audio 1 2. Audio 1 2. Call it a grand. Let's look at this. Audio 1 2. Audio 1 2. 975. What happened to the peak? It's not going to grow anymore. Peak or tweaker. Audio 1 2 1 2. 1950. I got more drive. Is it going to help it? I got the voltage. Got a little bit. Audio. Show me 140 driving it. See what it does this way. That's passing through it. Okay. See if we have the same. Audio. Now it's 140. Look at our amperage. It increased. Audio. 133, 132, 133 amps. What happened to my input reflection? Audio, 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 audio. 1.5. It's not terrible. I got the voltage to run this extra bit of drive I'm putting into it. Now let's take a look at what it's doing on the RMS now. 2500. Each line's 50. Audio, 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 audio. And we're hitting 1150, 12. Let's see what it does right here. Audio, 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 audio. 1150 or so. Let's see. Did the peak increase? I increased my drive. Audio, 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 audio. Just a little bit. 25 watts. It's not worth the risk. Yes, you filled the RMS. You filled it almost to the point where it's too much. Bro, all you gotta do is do this. Bink. Drop that right back down. You don't need that extra 40 or 50 watts because all you're doing is tearing up transistors. Or you could tear them up. I did it responsibly. So let's take a look real quick. So if we just jabbed in 150, no, let's take that one back. Let's say 145. 145, and we divide that into 8 transistors. That was 18.125 watts per transistor. Now each transistor has 4 of these little chips inside here. This one here's got 6. There's one with 4. I think that's got 4 on it. Yeah, there's 4 there. All right. So it's got 4 of those. Now if you took that 18.125 and divided that now 4 times, now this is getting all the way inside the transistor. That's 4.5 watts per chip inside here. So that's a lot of moving and grooving. So when a guy says, "Oh, I blew a pill," man, listen, it's not just a pill that you destroyed. You could have destroyed a bunch of stuff. So this is why I take and spend my time in trying to show you guys the little videos on how to run them right. What do you think, Molly? Do we try to run them right? I know we got one more test I want to show them with coax. But in the meantime, how are you? You a good girl? Yeah, you're waving? You were just waving away. Really? Uh-huh. What'd you have? Hey, come here. Did you have some beef jerky? Did you? You like that, don't you? I know, you like that beef jerky, don't you? It wasn't teriyaki, was it? I don't like teriyaki. You like teriyaki? No? Okay. All right, let me finish this up. Come here, Linda. All right, you sit. You stay there. Stay there for a second. I got a little something for you here. Molly time. What are you gonna do for this? You want that? You gonna wave? Hi. Oh, you gonna catch it like a ninja? Watch this. Ninja. Oh, you miss. Every time I say that and brag on you, you miss. So let's try it again. Ready? Sit. 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 Linda, sit. And watch. Damn, that's twice. Come on, Molly. 3 times. You're out. Next batter. Batter up. All right. So, one more thing. I'm going to just turn this down a bit, which where I'm at. And let's take a look at this coax. I'm trying to cover all the bases for you guys so you can see. I can talk to you and tell you about it, but unless you see it, sometimes you don't believe it. So let's take a look at this half a wavelength. I'm feeding from that driver right there down to this 8. All right. Got a half a wavelength coax right here. And I have another piece right here. It's quarter wavelength. So let's take a look and focus on 2 things here. First thing is, well, a couple different things. But first thing is, let's take a look at the amperage. Let's pay attention to amperage and see where we're at. Get a baseline. Okay, here's your amperage. You know what? This might be easier to show. Audio, 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 audio. So let's call it 106. Now, what happens to our peak here? Audio, 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 audio. 1975. Let's look at my drive. Audio, 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 audio. Touch over 100. Let's look at the input. Now, this is important, the input. Audio, 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 audio. So I'm hanging out right around 1 watt. All right? 1 watt. Now, I'm going to simply take, disconnect here, disconnect up here, then I'm going to reconnect. All right. Now I have a quarter wavelength between my driver and the 8. Now, okay, now carrot. Look at our amperage. Audio, 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 audio. 120, 121. All right, and my drive. Audio, 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 audio. It showed me more drive. My input. Audio, 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 audio. Smidge over 1. What happened to my peak? Audio, 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 audio. 20, 25, somewhere in there. Audio, RMS, audio, 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 audio. So it took my RMS is suffering here. Audio, audio, audio. Look at this. Audio, 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 audio. 975 or so. So my RMS seemed to suffer. And what happened to the peak again? We'll do the peak up here too. Audio, peaker, tweaker, audio, peaker, tweaker. 1925 or so, audio, peaker, tweaker, audio, peaker, tweaker, audio. Now that's with a 6 foot. Now the inputs, let's focus. Audio, 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 audio. So I'm a hair over 1 watt. Now I am in a dummy load. Now this should change. This should change. I changed the coax. Some people say coax length does not matter, and that is a false accusation. It does matter. The length of your coax matters. Alright. Man, kid's working good. Alright. Let's go right to this. Audio, 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 audio. That little bit is lower. Let's see what my peak is. Audio, 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 audio. 1950. Alright. Audio, 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 audio. Now let's go back to RMS. Audio, 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 audio. See, I'm up there. Let's look at the digital RMS. I'm up there, but the 12, it seems to want to see the 12, and that's pretty common. Audio, 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 1, 2, 1, 2. So, as you juggle coax around for your system, this is not set in stone. That's why I show you this test on the bench. It's sometimes you'll see a lot of change, other times you not so much. But let's look at this change. Let's do one more test with this, and we're not going to incorporate. Yeah, we'll incorporate that. So let's just throw a different carrier and see what happens with our input reflect when we change our carrier level. So let's see where we're at. Let's get something up here. That one's not working. Let's look at this one here. Okay. Make it bigger. All right, here we go. All right. So you see, I'm moving it. Now I'm going to do the same thing. And here's your input reflect. I move it up and down. See, it goes way when I take and I drop my carrier way down. Now I'm bringing it way up. And I'm up there. I'm at 1100 watts right now. Back down. So your carrier level shouldn't ever go higher than where you're actually at saturation point, because at 1100 watts you're saturated. It should never go past that. It should be able to be suppressed with modulation. So if you see how pretty much smooth that is, all right, going up and down like it should, yeah, okay, and you can see it on the watt meter right here. Here's both of them. All right, it's input drive level right there, they keep. So if I do that same test, one more change here. Stupid lids. Oh boy. Pin for that. Let me put them away. Alright. Now, same test. Let's throw in a carrier. Alright. What happens here? Do the same thing. Back it up. Yep. Oh. And the wrong way. Look at the carrier there. Alright, it should be maximum right there. Alright, so that's like 2 watts. So if you go over here, let's see where I'm at. I don't like throwing 1100 watt carrier. If I go up, it's going to go up, but you're going to end up breaking it. When you go up, that goes down. So you're saturating at that point. A little modulation on the 6. Audio 1 2 RMS. Audio 1 2. Audio 1 2. So on the dummy load, the way how this amp is working, it's working good because all my coax is actually tuned to frequency. So I'm not seeing a big ripple, but some boxes you do. Some boxes come in for repair and you're like, oh Jesus, how are you going to straighten this one out? But when you're building a box and you have the opportunity to manipulate the input network and the output network and get them tuned and have that opportunity to tune them on frequency, it's very important that you get that done and get it on frequency, not just you're making watts or you got this meter close to not moving, but you're reading the meter wrong. I see so many different things happen when somebody presents an amplifier online or whatnot. I get to take peeks. Sometimes people send me pictures of them and I'm like, what am I looking at here? But regardless, I'm just trying to give you guys a fair demonstration on all the ins and outs and all the things that I talk about all the time, and sometimes they're scattered throughout videos and such. So I'm trying to take and consolidate a lot of this information for the equipment. Yes, it is a repetitive line and talk that I have to have with you guys quite a bit. Do I continue to do this, or should we move on to other things? So it's just kind of one of those things. I think it's really important that people understand what they're dealing with on the equipment that they're either winning or buying. If you're winning, it's one thing, you tear it up, you ain't out much money. But if you save for a year to purchase an amplifier and you got a bad lemon from a guy that didn't really know what he's doing, you're going to spend double amount of money to get that box corrected to make the same amount of power that you paid for the first time. Now you done spent almost double your money. You could have already bought a bigger box. So if you guys are going to do a purchase, make sure that you research the guy or the individual that is building your equipment and see if he is competent of being able to manufacture a piece of equipment and show you it's working properly with all the ins and outs. All the ins and outs is everything you see here. You got to have voltmeters, you have to have amp meters, and you have to have peak meters, and peak meters have to actually add up to when you take your amperage and your voltage. It should equal to 100% your peak. And then if you're not at that number, then you're not at 100% efficiency on your box, and you're not going to get there. You get real close, but you're not going to nail it every time. So there's not a whole lot of secrets about this stuff, guys. A lot of it's common sense and just some simple rules. A handful of rules is all you need, and you can be successful on taking and going out talking DX, maybe being a shootout, neighborhood bully, what have you. Just go out there and have some fun with your equipment. What you think, Molly? You want to do a roller? Yeah? You want to do a rolling cookie? You like the rolling cookie, don't you? Let's see if we can get the roll straight. You want this one? Come here. Come here. Let's see if we can get the roll straight. Come on over here. You gonna sit? All right, you gonna sit? Ready? You ready? Here we go. Go get it, Molly. Hurry, get it. Get it, Molly. You got your roller. So there you have it, guys. One little South Jersey straight 8 transistor unit. This unit is going for the Ivan Ward Black Cat radio. Is going to be his next raffle. I'll probably be coming up, probably post this thing up on Monday or maybe tomorrow. Don't know. But I'm sure the tickets, they'll have so many spots to fill it up, and he'll let it go. And then I'll ship it out once he tells me where to ship it, and I'll ship it right to the individual, right from my shop, right to their shop. So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it was constructive for you, and you were able to take and pull a little bit of information out of what I'm trying to explain and ramble on about. Molly's still got something to say. Come here, Molly. Come here. Come on. Hey, Lucy. Come here. Hey. Come here. Come here. Come here, Linda. Come here. You gonna sit, please? Sit. You gonna wave bye to everybody, Molly? Hey, Molly, you gonna wave bye? What? Yeah? Hey, we ain't done. You gonna sit? Tell everybody have a good weekend, Molly. Hey, tell them. No? Say see ya. All right. Bye-bye. We'll go get the kitty. All right, guys, there you go. Molly said what she had to say. She wants to go see the kitty. So I'm sliding out of here. Thank you for watching. And if you're on YouTube and you hadn't hit the subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button, and you'll get notifications if you hit that button as well. And then you can follow me. There you go. Take care. Welcome to the weekend, boys. I'm out of here.